think you ought to know. That Men's Radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's Men's Radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ, Kane, Phil, Dave.
Oh, yes.
I'm not exhausted now. I'm having a lie down now. That's it. I'm having a lie down. Thank you very much. That is, if you're just joining us now, that is the great Mr. Ray Gelato of Ray Gelato and the Giants, who wrote and performed all the instruments himself, apart from the cat that played the piano.
And might we extend a very warm welcome to you. You are listening to The Daily Show here on Men's Radio with Russ Kane and me, Phil Dave. We are live across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves. What more could you possibly want?
Unbelievable.
We're all
unbelievable. It's global conquest. Well, if I can conquest the living room, that'll be good. Martin Allen, hi guys. Paul Claridge, halfway up a ladder in East Croydon, being beaten up. Good afternoon, guys and gals. I can't hear that phrase without feeling violently sick. I'm just going to say good afternoon, Paul. Ed Grossman, do-wah. Hang on. Barry J. Allen.
Yeah.
Good afternoon from a sunny 9 degrees Scotland. Get him.
Crumbs. Steve Swain said, hello, guys.
That was Steve Swain. Yes, indeed. Ed Grossman. You're not wrong, man. Happy Monday. I mean, it might as well be. Who cares? I really don't care. Andrea Lucas.
Thank you, baked potato.
Morning. You know, there's so many people. If the gang on Men's Radio Station get the gags, but if you're listening on Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves, you're thinking, why do they play Thank You, Baked Potato for Andrea Lucas? Work it out yourselves. Paul Rose, superb. What? My T-shirt?
Hang on. What's the T-shirt say? I know this doesn't work.
It doesn't say anything at all. No, it doesn't. It's just a pattern. It's a 1930s sort of jazz pattern, which is my Ray Gelato tribute, basically. Emma Webb, hello. Yes, the smiling ain't stopping.
Well, that's good.
That's drugs talking. That's the drugs talking.
Well, whatever it may be, look, and Nurofen is a very powerful thing. But look, whatever the drugs are, might I suggest that it's always nice to know that someone doesn't stop smiling. That's good.
Yeah. I'm waiting to start. Angela Lee, good afternoon to you.
Sorry, Barry J. Allen is getting very personal. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm asking how Ebony.
Say hello to my little friend. So, you want to fight? You want to say hello to my little friend? Right. Let's get you up to speed because I actually have T Green. Right, Phil, I want to hear you doing your scales. You, Phil, come on. T Green's
They're
watching.
in the bathroom.
No, come on. Phil. Oh, geez. Right, T. You got a new client. His name's Phil Davey. Lives in Hertfordshire. T Green. In case you're wondering why on earth I suddenly broke into that, the foremost vocal coach in the United Kingdom,
or as we call it, green tea.
Yeah, he's T Green. I actually don't even know what the T stands for. I think his name is just T Green. You know and I always go on about it because he's sung on so many songs, supposedly by the artists. And you know the one that goes, "Stay now." You know, East 17. All of that.
Baby, if you've got to go away, don't
stay another day. Anyway, that one. That's all T Green.
That's T. Of a Christmas song. There's no reference to Christmas.
It is a big Christmas. There's nothing. Not even a reference of running yourself over. Here's a way that we link all this together. The bloke, was it Brian Harvey, who ran himself over? You couldn't make this up. He ran himself over and got actually badly injured. And he said it's because he had a baked potato, which brings us back to Andrea Lucas.
Thank you, baked potato.
I'm not making that bit up. So, T, hi to you. T Green always looks like he's going to beat the crap out of you, and he's the most charming guy. He's the sort of guy, if you owed somebody money, you'd open the door. You wouldn't want to see T standing there.
By the way, might I say at this stage, sorry to do this. I know this is going to make it sound like a really cheesy radio program.
God, that's lovely. Actually, the weather. Go on.
Russ, might I remind you, 2 years ago to this very day, you and I were on Men's Radio together, and I found out live on air that I'd
You
just
were pregnant.
had a phone call for the first time.
Oh, yes. That's
my
right.
nephew-
Your little nephew.
2 years old today, so if I may just say happy birthday to Jesse. I don't think he understands or really watches this program, but I know that he apparently is watching now. So hi, Jesse, and happy birthday.
I can't believe it's 2 years. Wow, that's so sweet. You speaking to your sister yet, or a bit of a broigus going on? You okay?
No.
Everything's fine? Okay, good.
On the contrary, actually, I'm delighted to say that Steph and I have got on better now than we have done forever.
I take personal credit for that. But then I was also the lone gunman on the grassy knoll. Who the hell knows? Hey, guess who else? Guess who's saying good afternoon, boys?
I think you should take credit for that. And I'll tell you for why. Is because I've often turned to you for mediation whenever there's a situation that I feel requires some sort of level-headedness approach to it and a calm influence. I've often gone to you for that.
You take
And on
Eve
that very
Phantom. Crazy game. Crazy name. Crazy gal. Crazy pal.
crazy game may well be the case.
Crazy game. That's what would Freud make of that. Eve Phantom. Infamous. That was a famous black and white film. I can't remember who it was. Andrea Lucas says, on Deluxe Radio, you're beginning to understand the content of this show.
Wait, hang on. What's infamous? I know what it means.
Infamous?
What is it? No, what?
No, it's because Andrea Lucas, several comments up, says, am I becoming famous? I have no idea how Andrea talks, but for the sake of convenience, she's going to speak like the woman in The Importance of Being Earnest. Am I becoming famous?
You have no idea how far from the truth that is, but never mind.
No, she's pretty famous. Ed Grossman. Ed, oh man. Oh, Ed. I rarely have jealousy. Jealousy is not something I suffer from. But boys, for the record, I just had a couple of egg and onion rolls. Oh my God.
Ed out of what?
I'm a holishing for an egg and onion roll.
Hang on, when
If there was chopped liver, I'd be on another roll. Come on. What?
Out of interest, Ed, are you with anyone at the moment? Because I always find egg and onion quite an antisocial food.
He's a playboy. He drives a Ferrari. It doesn't matter. You know, those Russian chicks that put up with him. Let's go back to Scotland to Fife, where Sue Sleet via Bromley and Staples Corner. The most unlikely three names to find in one sentence is there. Phil, the rolls from Daniel. Is he a friend of yours? Or is it Daniel's, which is a deli? What's the deal with Daniel?
I don't know, but I like the idea of rolls from Daniel's. They're very nice.
Ed Grossman, Phil, my wife made me. Oh, you see now you're upset.
Delayed reaction to Scotland.
Yeah, that was the Scotland thing. Very good. What's the key to comedy? Timing. But Andrea Lucas, I had banana pancakes for breakfast. This is worse than BBC Radio Norfolk. What's your favorite biscuit? You know, I like a plain digestive, but what is your favorite biscuit? Anyway, here's Al McCogan and Dreamboat. God almighty. Oh, hang on. Martin has got my attention. Phil, read this. Oh.
On the food note,
Yeah.
cooked pie and mash last night.
Oh, what? Pie and mash. Ooh. Right. Now, a couple of nice things. First of all, I've had over 1,000 messages about my little mini schnauzer. That's not a euphemism. That is my dog.
Are we talking about the food again?
Yeah, we're talking about, well, how's your mini schnauzer? Well, still a bit sore, but I think the cream's helping. My little dog. And if I have not responded to all 1,000 messages, it's ridiculous. I could drop dead tomorrow. Nothing, right? Blooming dog gets ill. Internet breaks. Thank you very much. It's incredibly kind of you. People have been sending me messages, and people I don't even know, and not friends, and saying the most, making the most amazing offers and stuff. Thank you so much. Really extraordinary.
Ed Grossman says, Russ, Tony B, I assume he means Tony Blackburn, used to do have a nice cup of tea in the morning.
I like a nice cup of tea in the morning, just to start my day, you see. Then about 11:30, well, my idea of heaven is a nice cup of tea. I'd like a nice cup of tea at my lunchtime, and a nice cup of tea with my tea. And a final thing at night.
And by the time
something that's just right. Lulu used to sing that as well.
And by the time I've drunk all that, it's time to go for it. And actually,
another wee. Speaking of wees, Ebony up 2:30 this morning. Right, okay. Finally get back to sleep. 5:30 this morning. Couldn't get back to sleep. Absolutely blooming hopeless. So that was a thing from the British Tea Council when I was a kid, and Lulu used to sing that as well, and some other people as well used to do that whole advert. I can't remember how the last stanza goes, but it's something like that. Ed Grossman, Ross, I love that. Oh, bless you, Ed.
Oh, hang on, just a cotton picking second.
What's going on? Andrea Lucas again.
I had banana pancakes for breakfast.
Yeah, I read that out. I read that out about 10 minutes ago. Try and pretend you're part of the show. Try and pretend you're interested.
Really sorry, I wasn't interested. You're right. But might I just say the reason why, and you said it's all about timing anyway. Yeah. So timing's right. By the way, on that front, actually, can you teach me about timing in comedy? On that front.
No, the gag goes like this. Let's do the gag properly. Go. You ask me, all you have to say, this is how the gag goes. I go, what? Hey, Russ, what's the secret of comedy, right? When you finish having your gin and tonic, go on. Russ, what's the secret? This is how the gag actually goes.
Asking you this, sorry.
Go.
Yes, okay, right. Hang on, I've got to get this right. Russ, what's the secret?
Timing. That's how the gag goes. McDonald's were doing pancakes yesterday for 99p. What's the point of telling me now? You could have sent me a bloody message. I'd have gone and got one.
Anyone can get there with Pancake Day. Anyway, the reason why I said it was good about having banana pancakes for breakfast is because this morning I also rather unusually have pancakes for breakfast. And the reason being is
the will to live. Go on.
What? Sorry.
Go on. No, go on. Go on.
Just think. This is riveting stuff. Or as some might say, this is flipping interesting. Anyway, right.
Just going outside to shoot myself. I'll be back in a minute.
No problem. I'll let you take a shot at that. Anyway, whilst this morning, right, the reason why I had pancakes for breakfast is because that we featured yesterday on one of the programs I work on a company that happens to sell pancakes, and they sent us in some batter. Unfortunately, it didn't arrive in time, so I had to have it this morning instead. So actually, Shrove Tuesday was Ash Wednesday, but it became, well, I suppose it would have been Shrove Wednesday, really. Does that mean tomorrow's Ash Thursday?
Tomorrow's
Ash
kind of Thursday-ish. Paul Andrews, oh my God, if you ever needed evidence of lockdown biting, you're not kidding. My best mate did a WhatsApp call with me last night, Lloyd Beanie, and the pair of us realized we've gone completely round the bend. God, absolutely posse. Anyway, so Ebony, I can't get the medicines down, and I've got more medicines than the end of Scarface. I could reshoot Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I'd still have medicines left over. Oh, hang on, Phil. Back in the day, Wimpy Bars did pancakes. They did flapjacks. They did, and I think, Ed, on the middle of the thing about the Wimpy Bar that I remember, and it was as a kid because I used to go to the one in Southgate, London, N14, which has a wonderful Art Deco tube station saved by, it was going to be demolished, some piece of crap they were going to build there. And Gavin Stamp, who was a few years ahead of me at school, saved it and saved all of the Art Deco tube stations that were going to be demolished. They're magnificent. Arnos Grove's got one. The one at Southgate is a work of art. And it's all down to a guy called Gavin Stamp.
Gavin Stamp then left and joined the army, and he got posted somewhere.
Linda Dave, no relation to you, obviously. It's Lent tomorrow, guys. What will you both give up? I've already given it up. It's called life. I've given up everything. Linda, if you think I'm going to add anything to what we've given up for the last 12 months, you are off your rocker.
Hang on a second. I mean, that's a bit unfair.
It's not unfair. I've given up everything. What are we doing? We're doing nothing. We're doing absolutely nothing. There's nothing I can give. What is Linda going to give up? Yeah. Okay, Lindsay, are you giving something up, Phil? What?
Well, I thought about it.
Yeah.
And I thought I should give up being nice.
When did you start?
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to give up something you start.
Yeah, you got to give up something that is part of you. Ed Grossman, I won't tell you what I'm giving up, and my site should improve. Speak up, Ed. Andrea Lucas is giving up cooking, which is terrible news for everybody who presumably knows her and likes her cooking. Eve Phantom, I'm giving up abstinence for Lent. Dirty cow. Paul Rose, Wimpy, the thinking man's excuse to say the word. I'll try this again. I'm not going to get through the sentence. Paul Rose says, can you read? I can't read it.
Paul Rose
I can't read it. Go
on. Thinking man's excuse to say the words pork bender out loud.
You make it sound like Judge Rinder. Pork bender. Did they have that? I can't remember. I remember they had sort of laminated, because you were kids. It was the first place you ever went as a kid. Not you, Phil. The first place you went was the Wolsey, but everybody else went to the Wimpy when we were kids, right? It was, went to a restaurant. Where'd you go? The Wimpy bar. Wow. And they had laminated menus to make it nice and clear, because I think they had pictures of what you could order in case you were really hard of thinking. And the best bit was the tomato sauce came in a big plastic tomato with a little green sort of leaves on the top. I love those things.
They were very good fun. And also, actually, we used to have a Wimpy bar in Stanmore. We were quite privileged like that, you see.
Wow.
And the Wimpy bar became Star Burger, and then Star Burger became Madison's. Then Star Burger became
Madison's
Deli.
Yeah, the deli. Yeah.
And then Madison's Deli became, it shut down for a while, and then it became the Delissery. And then after Delissery, it became a dessert bar, which it is now.
A dessert bar? Qu'est-ce que c'est a dessert bar? And please don't just say they just sell desserts. Is that it?
Well, they do. No, that's exactly what it is. They just sell desserts. But it's really strange how I've just got this. I'm not really very good at remembering people's names, as you may have gathered.
It's Russell, short for Russell.
Thanks, Ross. Anyway, I'm not very good at remembering. Yeah, I'm not very good at sort of remembering people's names. But for some ridiculous reason, I have a picture memory that I can walk down the high street in Stanmore, and I can see and remember everything that used to be there in my lifetime.
Do.
I know it's a bit.
You're entering the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
I don't know why I do that, though.
I don't. Paul Rose, Boreham Wood still has a Wimpy. That place will survive a nuclear blast. It's been here forever. Paul Andrews, milkshakes to burst your eardrums with. Jules Silverman. I loved Wimpy and the Bender in a Bun. Do we know him? It's Timmy Alexis Carrington Ward, isn't it? He's not going to sue. He doesn't care. And Bender in a Bun. I don't know.
Oh,
I think that was part of her growing up. If everyone in the Wimpy sucked on the milkshakes at the same time, the windows would have caved in.
Happy days. You know what? Speaking of nostalgia, there's one thing that's really, really good for nostalgia.
What?
If you do ever want to sort of take a trip quite literally down memory lane, then Google Maps has this fantastic little feature that shows you images of what somewhere used to look like from years ago, because obviously Google Maps, or Street View in particular as it's known, has been going for quite a few years now. I think Street View's been going about 13 years, and you can actually now look at the Street Map or Street View archive, So you do a search for the name of a road that
Right.
wherever you want to
High
look.
Street Acton, let's say.
Fine,
No
do
idea.
a
I don't know.
search for High
Making
Street.
that up.
And then in the top left corner, there's a little clock that sort of says, what does it say? It says something like time or something like that. I think it is.
That would be kind of logical for a clock. I'm going out on a wild limb there.
No, you're right. But you can, I know what it is. It's actually literally an image of a clock with arrows going around. You can actually turn back time. You can look.
You know what? If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, the rest of the words,
you wouldn't take back those things that had hurt me and you'd stay, would you?
No, I'd still say them.
Yeah.
If they're true, basically.
If you could reach the stars.
Yeah. I'd bring them all to you.
Yeah.
I think that's the next line.
Then you'd love me like you used to do.
Yeah.
That's the line after that.
Okay. Phil Dave, ladies and gentlemen, is appearing as Cher at the Las Vegas Wimpy. The Wimpy was the first eatery where kids could go without feeling uncomfortable by the staff. Love the Neasden Wimpy. Neasden. Did you, because you were Sue Sleet, who now lives just a little bit from the gorgeous beach up in Fife in Scotland, and she's sent pictures in the past and it looks stunning, right? Neasden, if you don't know Neasden, with respect, God, it's ugly. That is not an attractive place, Neasden. Just ain't.
It's very true. Neasden's a little bit rough.
It's never improved. Andrea Lucas, love nostalgia and reminiscence when I often do with the day centre members. Yes, I'm going to miss the day centre. Are you stopping working there or what?
Huh?
No, not you, Andrea. Is Andrea not working because she does great work? A lot of our folks
do great
do
work. Yeah, she does do great work. No. The day centre she refers to, unfortunately, alas, is a bit no more. But well, it's primarily a COVID thing, isn't it? But,
right. Okay. Because there's not residents as such. I get it. No, I'm with you now. Hey, you know, I have mentioned this is a lovely little. It's closed. Thanks, Andrew. Paul Rose, stop it. What, the whole radio station, deluxe radio waves? What should we stop? There is still a real old Wimpy bar in Southend near the Pavilion, says Ed Grossman. Excuse me. Well, sorry about
bless you.
No, I coughed. It was a kind of half cough, half sneeze. Don't say that. Don't. It's not funny.
You get so twitchy about that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so far, there's still a Wimpy at Clacton on Sea, says Kimmy Lashmar.
I can't believe we're on Wimpy Watch today.
How come everybody? Why can we not reference shirt?
What?
Look, Paul, I got you, babe. I got you to hold my hand.
There.
And Paul, I thought I had you to understand. It's rough now, but not when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s, says Sue Sleek. What, Neasden? So was Neasden okay?
Apparently.
It's weird because Willesden used to be really posh.
Really?
Yeah. No. Willesden was really posh. And then it just became Willesden, which is the best place to see Willesden is in your rearview mirror. Anyway, you will remember that I have a local little shop. So I won't go to the supermarkets because of COVID and everything. I haven't been to like Tesco's for about a year. So my little local corner shop is run by this guy called Vimel. It's a tiny little shop, right? And this guy, I've mentioned him many times on the show, only because he has worked his socks off. He can never do enough for everybody. He's always lovely. He's always charming. He knows everybody by name. You know, you walk in, morning, Russell, how are you? And, you know, he's been really a lifeline to everybody in the little local area. It's a tiny little corner shop, right? Yesterday, he gets a letter on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen, and he's been nominated and congratulated as being one of the unsung heroes. And I was so tickled to hear that. I think it's just fantastic, and he blooming well deserves it. He's worked so hard for, you know, unendingly through this pandemic, and he's been great. So that's Vimmel in his little corner shop with an actual handwritten letter from Her Majesty, on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen, singling him out as an unsung hero. Isn't that a lovely little story?
Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's like a frame and putting the downstairs, Lou.
Well, somebody said you got to frame it, and he went, "Oh, I don't want." He's such a modest guy, and I said, "No, come on, it's fantastic. You got to put it in a frame. It's a brilliant thing." Linda Dave, no relation, went to school, and a wimpy bar was up the road. You see, this is where it's all gone wrong for your mother. This is it. Her crazy wild youth went to school. Well, that's a good point. And a wimpy bar was up the road, and the headmaster banned us from going there at lunchtime. I was caught by a teacher, and was suspended for 3 days. It starts with this, Phil.
Oh.
Then you're going to find your mother's got a huge criminal record.
I confess I didn't know that about my mother.
Yeah, you see, you're shocked. You're shocked. She was suspended from school.
No, to be fair, I never said I was shocked. I just didn't know that about her. I mean, I've always suspected that she's a bit of a rebel at heart.
Oh, of course she is. She's got rebel written all over her face. Beneath that, pulchritudinous beatitude, there is clearly, the devil at work. Naughty girl, says Andrea Lucas. Paul Rose, just tried that Street View clock thing. Fun. Thanks for that.
I know, right? It's great. That's actually why I'm not really talking very much. I'm just messing around
So it's not like you're in the middle of a live show, idiot.
No.
So what do you do again? Run us by it again, because it sounds quite amusing.
I would love to say that other services like this are available, but I don't actually know of any of them. But
the BBC.
No, I know. If you go to google.com or maps.google.com.
Hang on 1 second. Stop. Hang on 1 second. Hang on.
It's not like you're in the middle of a live show.
Larry Viner. Hang on.
No.
Hang on. You're right in the middle of a live show, and I put you on speaker. Speak to the world.
I didn't realise you were on. I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the comedy stylings of Mr. Larry Viner.
Whoops. Anyway, yes. So there we go. Right. So what you do is you go to maps.google.com, and then you can do the Street View bit where you get a little yellow man and just drop it onto the map wherever you want to look at, and then it can.
You say that these days?
What?
The little yellow man. I don't think you can say that these days.
I don't care. That's what it is. People can say what they want, but that is exactly what it is.
It'll be front page of the Daily Star. Dawn Neeson. She'll be at you.
I know.
Actually, Andrea Lucas is saying to your mother, naughty girl. She should have said naughty grill.
Oh, I see what you did.
I'm like with no sleep. This is what I'm like with so much stress because of the dog and no sleep. This is what happens to me.
I feel like people tell we haven't had very much sleep between us at the moment.
Boy,
but
boy, oh boy.
the dogs
keep nudging me.
I apologise if you can hear them, by the way.
Are they? The dog, what's bothering them?
Very upset.
Because
my folks have, for the first time in forever, nipped out for a walk. As a result of it, I know, their timing's not great. But for the first time in forever, they've nipped out for a walk. And as a result of it, the dogs are a bit upset. So,
Now, this is interesting. We're going to get Anna Webb, who's like one of the top dog experts in the whole of the UK, back on the show. She's a mate. Anna Webb. Woof, woof, Anna Webb, we say. And one of the things we want to ask her, and I'd love to know from everybody else, everyone who's got dogs and pets, right, is this. Undoubtedly, they pick up on all this crap that we've endured for the last 12 months. There's no two ways about it. But because we haven't left home, many of us, we're here like 24/7 under house arrest. I wonder what's going to happen when it starts to ease even a little and we start to go out a little bit. I think they're going to freak out.
It'll be horrendous for the dogs, seriously. So awful for them. Can you just imagine? They've been used to this. They say everyone's sort of come out losing from this, apart from dogs, because the dogs have had company stop all the time. And if they've sort of developed this sense of, some dogs, my dogs have got separation anxiety at the best of times, never mind through COVID. And now they're going to start going out again and realize that they are going to have to be left alone, whether they like it or not. And
leave them books, leave the men's radio station playing, and they'll be fine.
Yeah,
probably phone in.
That's a good idea.
That is what you'll do. You'll leave men's radio station playing. They'll be listening. They'll be learning. They'll be learning about mental health and well-being. And maybe they'll shut up.
And today's phone-in subject: are you a lonely bitch? What? Excuse me.
We're each other's best audience. It's just irrelevant. Andrew Luke says, "Is it not pouring? They will get soaked. Is it raining? No, I don't know. I don't know.
It's not too bad at the moment, actually.
My chum phones me, who lives a mile away, and goes, "Oh, it's pouring." I go, "It's not." And it's so weird that in London you get the most crazy localized weather. It's a mile distance, right?
I think
pouring in one location, absolutely fine in another. I don't know how that works.
They've clearly returned, so the dogs have stopped yapping now. But yes, it is mightily
Where did they go? Where did they go to the post box? Where
maybe
did they go
a post box just down the road, so it's possible they went there. But anyway, I don't know. I don't get involved in these things. I just sort of graciously accept if they're going out, they're going out. Oh, look, it's nice to turn up. Sam Monroe, hello.
Hello, everybody. On the last radio, he's Sam Monroe.
By the way, in case you are listening to this with some sense of trepidation, thinking, what on earth is happening to my ears right now? You are listening, by the way, to Men's radio station. It's the Daily Show with him, Russ Kane, and with me, Phil Dave. And you are listening to us either live across Facebook, maybe Twitter or YouTube, or indeed across Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves. There's loads of ways to listen to us.
You know what's worrying? When lockdown is lifted, if we haven't been banned on the other radio stations who do phoned up and they wanted to take our programs, which is great, we will be on all the cruise ships. You and I will be heard on cruise ships around the globe. I mean, we're going global now, but we'll be on every cruise ship, something like 27 major cruise ships as well.
That's very exciting.
There will be a huge rise in people just jumping overboard in the middle of the Caribbean. Can't take it anymore. The Daily Show, a show that's not on daily. Yeah, no, Paul, I do spot the irony.
It's now
do
time
that again? What did you just do?
Oh, that was Al McCogan.
No, my mum loved that song.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, that's really upset me.
I'm sorry.
My mum used to say, it's funny. I wondered why I suddenly had a weird feeling. My late mum, she used to love that song. Russ is speaking from Radio Cardiff.
Radio Cardiff?
I've never been to Cardiff. Oh, no, I have been. No, I did. Of course I did. I did go to Cardiff. Absolutely. I went to Cardiff. Paul Rose points out the Daily Show, a show that's not on daily. Yes, I know, but I didn't know what else to call it. So I just called it the Daily Show.
And it sounded a little bit pig-headed to call it the Russ Kane and Phil Dave Show.
Well, it doesn't really flow, does it? I mean,
no.
People go, who? And it's too long. It's not catchy. Ken Elmchanur.
Hang on, they might say who about you, excuse me, but me, I think you'll find. I have a very loyal following by the tax man.
I'm doing my Ken Elmchanur. Hello. And what's your name? You're a rather attractive woman. Perhaps I could fetch you an amusing aperitif. Do you like my cravat? Anyway, Ken Elm says, Ken Elm was a top journo in Fleet Street, top bloke. Never had a wimpy in my life. Is it like a fat burger or a Big Mac? What am I missing? Do they have good coffee? I don't know, because I last went there when I was a kid. I can't answer about the coffee. But we used to love them. But the thing was, when we were little, and everyone will agree, because they were all little as well, we had nothing to compare it with, because there wasn't McDonald's. McDonald's didn't exist in the UK at all.
Really?
Oh, what do you mean, really? Oh, God, you're too young to remember, aren't you?
I didn't know McDonald's didn't exist in the UK. I thought it was born here. I'm joking, of course. But anyway.
No. I remember having a blazing argument on the Haymarket, which is a major street.
I absolutely refuse to believe you've ever had a blazing argument with anybody.
It was somebody I was working with, and they opened McDonald's. It finally arrived into central London. I think it started somewhere weird to test it out in Croydon. It was somewhere else as well, but I know they took it to Croydon. They'd never come to the UK. Had no idea if it worked. And I'm standing at the Haymarket, and there's McDonald's. And this bloke, who was much older than me, said, well, that's never going to catch on. I said, really? No. I remember this word for word. This would have been 1980. Would have been about 1980, something like that.
Ow.
Maybe 80 or 81 at the very latest. And he said, well, it's not going to catch on. And I said, of course it's going to. It will catch on. No, it won't. Are you telling me, he said to me, are you telling me that British people are going to not use a knife and fork. I've never forgotten this conversation. I said to him, his name was Cliff. I can't remember his surname. His name was Cliff something. That did Cliff Richard, wasn't it? Somebody I was working with. And I said, Cliff, you're wrong. I think the British people will like. They're not going to queue up and be served on a plastic tray and not have a knife and fork. He could not get his head around the concept that McDonald's would be a roaring runaway success. Paul Rose, the first one was in Woolwich.
Yes.
Hang on, your dad's back.
19.
Just as a referee today.
Apparently, the first branch opened on November the 13th, 1974, in Woolwich.
Oh, right. I had to go to Woolwich to the dog hospital. God almighty. I've never seen so much building in my life. Woolwich, unbelievable. Sam Munro, you sounded like Gerald Harper, not Kennell. My name's Gerald Harper. Welcome to my Sunday affair with champagne and roses. Larry Viner, I'm very fond of a bender. Phil, let's phone Larry up now.
I don't think that we'd get away with being on air much longer if we did that.
But with Larry?
Yeah.
I took my life in my hands by putting him on speakerphone because Larry will know why. Normally we just go crazy at each other and the language is disgusting. My cousin owned a lot. Hello, Sen Monroe. This is good. My cousin owned a lot of the Wimpeys in London, the Strand, Russell Square, Ilford and Seven Kings.
Good work.
He must be worth he was so wealthy, he had his own doner kebab in the back of his car in case he needed a snack at the traffic lights.
Either that or he was a bit wimpy.
That's really cool. What was your cousin's name?
I don't know, but he often thought...
Really cool. Your cousin owned a lot of Wimpeys. Interesting. I remember when going to McDonald's was a family event. The first time I'd ever heard of McDonald's was one of my best friends, Peter Suchet, as in brother of David Suchet and John. I went to America on a trip long time ago. And he said, we've been friends since we were 14 years old, Peter and I. He said, the most amazing experience. I said, oh, what was her name? And he said, no. I went to a restaurant and I went up to the counter and I ordered. And then I started to go back to the table and they said, excuse me, your food's ready. Now, Phil, you wouldn't get that, the relevance of the fact that we'd never, ever had a situation where you would order the food and then it was ready. You'd always go back to a table and you'd wait. He couldn't get over it. He thought there must be a mistake. Rosalind Claydon. Hello, Rosalind. The Wimpy at Marble Arch, huge horseshoe-shaped table, and the Nippies, were the first. Got overexcited there for a minute. Chilly out. Were the waitresses in gingham uniforms. The first Wimpies were great. This is true. The Nippies at Marble Arch.
Oh, you lot are going to be talking about Lions Tea Houses next.
It's Lions Tea House. Sure. I think that, Rosalind, I think you mean the Lions Tea House. Oh, that was fantastic. I love the toy. Larry's in rocking form. Larry Viner. I love the toys that came with McDonald's, but they used to get stuck in the children's throats.
Not good.
This is Men's Radio Station, where men really talk, worrying about mental health and well-being.
And you
gags about kids choking.
You might now be able to understand why, frankly. But anyway, good Lord.
Paul Rose says, and now 40 years later, you have to wait for your McDonald's. But you don't wait. How long do you wait? I don't go. I don't
You're in the car. It's fine.
Now, Linda Davis saying, I remember the Nippies in Lions Tea House. It was Lions Tea House. And my cousin Francine's just popped up with a kiss, and my eyesight, I can't see what the other thing is. So my cousin Fran, right? One day, we were very, very little kids. And my dad, the most irascible of people, took my cousin Fran, her brother Glenn, and me to the Egg and Bacon, which was part of Lions Corner House. The restaurant part was called the Egg and Bacon. It was so exciting because it came on a metal platter. It was so exciting. It was just egg and bacon, but we thought it was the greatest thing. Anyway, Glenn, you won't remember this, Francine. My cousin Glenn was so naughty and so bad that we left. And then as we were walking on the street, Dad said, oh my God, I didn't pay. We just walked out. because my cousin Glenn had wound my dad up so badly. It's a million years ago. Oh, God, yes, the apple pie at McDonald's, says Sam Monroe. The apple pie at McDonald's was still hotter than the surface of the sun. And blokes will know, Phil Dave, if you've ever had the misfortune to drop the apple pie on your lap. Great balls of fire. Jerry Lee Lewis, that's all I got to say.
Yes, well, it's true. So, apple and plum pie. But the point is that the apple pies are I've never understood actually how they do get them so flipping hot, because
they're in a nuclear reactor and they blast them with radiation. Who the hell knows?
If I was to make an apple pie, it doesn't come out that hot.
No. Hang on, Andrew Lucas, the Wimpy was in one corner of the large corner house. This is the Marble Arch. I can't believe we've got a whole show talking about bloody Wimpy, but there we go. Ed Grossman, I watched the first Wimpy bar being built. When it opened, there were crowds standing in wonder. Well, I remember the crowds at McDonald's. This was a revelation.
Good grief. I mean, now, honestly, you have to wonder, don't you?
Larry. Read it, I dare you. Because on Deluxe Radio, bless them, they can't read this unless they come over and watch us.
They can't read it. No, they can't read it. For that, they should be eternally grateful. But Larry Viner, well, you talk about where men really talk. I mean, he's being very open here, and let's not emphasize the word open. Larry Viner says, I really love McDonald's. With my enlarged prostate, it's very important. Stop it. It's very important to be able to find the facilities in the high street at all times. But I hate the food. Well, Larry, thank you for sharing that with us. And naturally, we do hope that your enlarged prostate goes down before long. Thank you. Kimmy Lashmar, being veggie, especially after holidays to America, I welcomed Wendy's for an Andrea Lucas. Thank you, bit for ticket.
Wait, is Wendy's over here? The ones in America that are apparently good is the one in LA, which I never got to because the queue in the cars, obviously, because you can't walk anywhere in LA, you get shot. Get shot. You can't go walking at all. It's madness. It's called the In and Out Burger, and apparently it's sensational. So if you've been to the In and Out Burger in the United States, is it that good? Apparently it's fabulous.
Well, apparently they cook with
it's marvelous. If the beanies say it's marvelous, it's obviously marvelous.
Apparently they lace it with laxative, and that's why it's called the Can I just say, allegedly, that's not necessarily the case.
I think they're going to sue. McDonald's head office is the High Road, East Finchley. Is it seriously, Sen? Wow, what a bizarre place to... I mean, nothing wrong with East Finchley. I used to hang there as a kid at East Finchley Tube Station. That's where I'd meet out. Again, with my cousin Glenn. I'd wait for Glenn. We'd wait for Glenn and our mutual best mate, Nicky Horn, as in little Nicky Horn. And we were all kids. We were like 14, 15. That's where we go. Wendy's was here. The one opposite the Chocodiero's now McDonald's.
Well, of course, the Chocodero isn't there anymore either.
Canada is Tim Horton. They've completely lost me, Kimmy, what? Oh, now, interesting. Now we've got someone on the show who's coming onto the show, I think this Friday. I can't keep up with the schedules. All the way from New York. Elizabeth Green. Hi. Elizabeth Green. Top chop. Hi. And we're going to know she's got a story to tell. Seriously.
Is it really wrong of me that just not because I don't want to dedicate an entire program to advertising of fast food chains, both past and present?
Yeah, well, they like it. People are loving this. It's good for their mental health. They're relaxing. They're chilling out.
They are chilling. You're right.
They're chilling out. Richard Vero. Now, this is amazing. Elizabeth Green. Yeah. She's in New York watching and listening. And Richard Vero is in Colditz. No, not the joke. I'm serious. Every time I say it, you think I'm messing about. I'm not. He actually lives in Germany in Colditz. We were at school together. So, right, now where's Richard gone?
Where's
Richard? Right.
Richard
There There used to be a Wendy's years ago. Love the one near Piccadilly Circus, but all shut though. They're coming back soon. Wendy's was pretty good. Ken Elm.
Oh,
Here we go. Ken Elm. I'll have my cigarette holder for this. I'll have my cigarette holder. Oh, Linda's loving it.
the exec has spoken. Linda Dave says, loving the program. Okay.
She is the barometer of all things. Ken Elm. I am astonished that so many listeners seem to have spent so much time in fast food joints. No wonder local family restaurants and cafes disappeared from the high street. Hello, my dear.
Actually, that's
sorry. Ken Elm was the coolest, was the smoothest bloke I think I've ever met.
That's strictly speaking not true, actually. There are a couple of good, really, really nice little local restaurants. I'm really hoping they've survived all of this COVID malarkey, because there was one in just off Berkeley Square, brilliant little Italian restaurant, which I can't for the life of me remember the name, which is a rubbish advert for it. I'm sorry.
Where was it?
Just off of Berkeley Square, local little Italian restaurant in one of those little mews.
Oh, I know what you mean.
As a result of it, it's family run for over 40 years. It's incredible. And the food
service.
Oh my God, the food's fantastic.
Haven't we been there? No, we went. There.
You and I did go there. You're quite right. We did. How amazing is that? I love it.
You've forgotten. Thank you. It's nice to be thought of as special.
Yeah, hang on. I remember our time at the Ivy.
Phil and I, we'd finished a very heavy show in our studios in Covent Garden, which we closed because of obviously the pandemic, because it's not safe. And then they closed the whole building anyway. And we were walking, and I said, what the hell? Life's so short. Let's go to the Ivy. And Phil said, what? I said, oh, come on. Because we were heading to the Soho Whiskey Club. And I said, I'm just cheesed off. It was a very heavy show, very emotional. And I said, we should celebrate life. And walked into the Ivy off the street, the one, not the Brasserie, the actual Ivy. And I said, I suppose you got a table for that. I said, yeah, absolutely, come in. It was terrific.
It was very good, actually, because
lovely.
what happened was I asked for the bill, Russ paid, and I snatched the receipt. It was great. So,
you think he's joking. Sen Munro, you can find the corporate head office address, and McDonald's is in Sen. Do we need this full? Most of the operations handled from this McDonald's corporate headquarters. It's at 11 to 59 High Street. I know exactly where that is. East Finchley. Sen, you're so pedantic. Paul Rose. I used to sell. Where has he gone? He's gone now. Oh, here we go. I used to sell promotional merchandise to McDonald's. We'll often had meetings at the HQ. There's a restaurant in there, and it's all free. Quick, get in there, Phil. Get in. I always schedule meetings around 1 o'clock. Paul, you're a genius.
It's now a really bad time to tell you that I think that in the last 10 years, I could count on my left hand the number of times I've eaten McDonald's.
No, me too. I actually don't. Joking aside, I don't eat fast food, and it's not a snobby thing. It's not a moral thing. It doesn't like me. I just can't eat it. Now I have a confession. I do have my guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is to go to KFC. I'll be honest with you. KFC, get a bucket. Usually they put some chicken in it. Sometimes it's just a bucket. Get a bucket of chicken and then have a really, really good bottle of white wine. It's madness. I know, stupid. Really good bottle of white wine with my KFC bucket.
The problem is that he blows the budget on the wine and can't afford decent food. So as a result...
You're not far wrong there. Pickpool is my favorite at the moment. Pickpool. If you haven't tried it, oh my God, it's good. The other day, after I'd been with Ebony for the 28,000th time to the vet and the vet hospital, I was off my face with tiredness and very, very stressed. She really was extremely ill. So for the first time, and like Phil, probably for the first time in 5 years or more, I thought, I'm going to get a burger. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I need some stupid instant gratification. And I got their chicken burger, which I ate in the glamorous car park. Where was I? Old Kent Road. Couldn't make it up. It was any worse. And the weirdest thing, sitting in the car park, there was this little one-off tatty shop. What was it called? Mr. Potato. And all I could think about was Andrea Lucas. It was called this little tiny shop I'm staring at called Mr. Potato. Anyway, I ate the chicken burger. I've got to be honest, it was delicious. It was fabulous. I couldn't move for the rest of the day. It just suddenly hit me. That was it. I was done. Didn't eat another thing for the whole day. That was it. Completely gone.
Ed Grossman says, Phil, you don't realize the English chap that got fired from McDonald's made huge changes, and it's now fantastic. Never before hath I seen a sentence containing McDonald's and fantastic together, but even so, I'm very impressed to hear it. Might I stress, it's not that I don't know that there have been changes made to McDonald's, because I remember there was a major scandal, especially around the time. No, especially around the time of the mad cows disease. They had to make massive changes to their menus then because no one was eating the burgers. So they had to
right.
So there was a major and just to stress, obviously, to anyone who doesn't remember it, mad cows disease absolutely was not McDonald's fault, but it was a major.
I mean, they're not bringing in live cattle in the back, and it turns up it's a burger at the front.
Obviously, a major problem to a restaurant chain that relied quite heavily on British beef, and as a result of it, they had to start making changes to their menu. So I'm well aware that they have done bits and pieces to it, but I can't explain it. I don't care if my food takes time. I don't need to eat it quickly. If I want to go to eat out, I'd like the food to be prepared properly with a little bit of attention to detail, a little bit of love maybe going into it. And I just think that chefs do that. McDonald's staff possibly don't. And I'm being very presumptuous.
It's not for me, but I have to say the queues, because near the vet is a 24-hour McDonald's, and the queues on the street in the cars are insane. Larry Viner, more revelations from the Viner household. I was banned from every golden egg. Do you remember the golden egg? Yes, I was banned from every golden egg in England.
Do you know the only time I've ever been banned?
Mr. Graham with you.
Do you know the only time I've ever been banned from somewhere?
Yeah.
I once was banned from, do you remember, it's not there anymore, but there was a bar in Mill Hill called The Bell. Do you remember that?
No.
It was on the high street. It was actually in the middle of the high street, and it was a pub. I think.
What are you talking about, Mill Hill Broadway?
Yeah, Mill Hill Broadway.
Yes, I do remember it. I remember it very clearly. It was towards where Marks and Spencer now is. It's on that side of the road.
It was that side of the road, but it was a little further up. It was nearer the Lloyd's end. And I don't mean Lloyd Beanie, I mean Lloyd's in the bank. Anyway, the Bell's now gone, long gone. I think it's where Prezzo is now or something like that. I don't even know if Prezzo is still there anymore. But anyway.
I don't live in Mill Hill.
Is that I went there one evening with a group of friends, went up to you remember we can go to public bars? This was quite nice. So I went up to the bar.
You're talking nonsense. That was never true.
Ordered a few drinks, and it just so happened that it was the next round, but there was about 6 or 7 of us, and there was only, I think, 1.5 people having any drinks. As a result of it, what I ordered came to about something like £4.95. Something ridiculous. I tried to pay on card, and they wouldn't take the card. And I said, oh, why not? And they said, because it's under £5. And I said, right, well, first and foremost, that is technically illegal because you've already declared the cost to me. This is a good trick, by the way. If anyone ever tries this, I don't think they will do any more because everyone's encouraging use of card now. But if anyone ever says to you the amount of money that you owe them and then say, actually, no, it's going to be at least £5, that's technically illegal because in consumer law, once you've declared the price, it's an understanding between the two parties. So if they then turn around and say, no, you've got to spend a minimum of, they're not allowed to do that. So if your payment method happens to be a card,
that happens to me all the time.
No, I know, but it's honestly true. They will argue until they're blue in the face that it's not the case, but it is technically true. But I'm not being funny. You can stand there and argue, but unless you've got a law book in front of you to prove it, then good luck with it. But the point is, that when I went up the bar and tried to pay, and I said, look, it's 5 pence difference. He said, why didn't you order a bag of crisps? I said, because I don't want crisps. Said, it's 5 pence difference, and you're seriously telling me you're not going to pay card? He said, no, there's a cash machine down the road. I said, I'm not going to get cash. It's very simple. You either take my card as payment, or you just don't bother. And so he said, fine. He took the drinks back again. Now,
get out.
No, I'm
took the drinks back.
Took the drinks back and being deadly serious. Now, Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm agog.
A couple of months later, bearing in mind there must have been hundreds of people who walked into that bar between now and then.
Oh, I can see where this is going, and I can't believe it. Come on.
And the bloke behind the counter, when I went up, and there was a massive group of us this time. There was probably about 20 of us this time. Went up to the bar, and he said, you owe me £4.95. And I said to him, right, have a look around, okay? there's 20 people here all about to order drinks from you. If you are seriously telling me that you're not going to serve me because I owe you £4.95, you will lose 20 orders. If you think that's good business, then you deserve to close down. And frankly, shock horror, a few months later, the Bell in Mill Hill shut down.
But it was horrible. I don't know why you went there. It was horrible. Didn't like
I can't say that I'm dreadfully surprised at that. But sure enough, he wouldn't serve me until I paid.
You're joking me. He wouldn't serve you and he turned away 20 customers.
Being deadly serious, wouldn't serve me until I paid £4.95.
Idiot.
I chose a couple of choice words and we all walked out. I mean, what an idiot, seriously.
Well, I don't understand, but it probably wasn't his pub. It was his pub, something.
What is
this? The Golden Egg, Muswell Hill. Yeah, you see, right. Now, Sen says, where was his comment? He did a law thing. Oh, yeah, Sen says, don't forget he was a CID murder detective as well. It's an invitation to treat. An invitation to treat. Now, there's a wonderful story. Paul Rose, I once fancied a quarter pounder at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was my dad. Probably was. He said, "You cut out my pub. You cut out my pub here." Once fancied a quarter pounder at 3 a.m., says Paul Rose. After one too many sherries, the only part open was a drive-through, and I pulled up to the window on foot in a tuxedo. Now that's commitment.
Is that a type of car?
Yeah, it's the Ford Tuxedo. Yeah, that's it. Interesting that. Wow. I can't believe he turned away. What kind of mentality? You talk about mental health and men's radio station. What kind of mentality? It's £4.50 and he's about to get a bill that's going to total 50, 60 quid.
No, I mean, of course, where he went terribly wrong is for the sake of 5 pence, he should have just taken the card as payment. May I just say, I'm not being totally unreasonable here. I recognize there's a cut-off point. Truly, I do. But a lot of the time, it's give and take. If it had come to about £3.50 and he was only going to make about £1 on the transaction, I kind of guess it. You know, I sort of think, actually, okay, fair enough. They have to pay the card companies for a transaction fee. Maybe I just need to go and get cash for the sake of it. It was 5 pence off of the total. Really? It wasn't going to make a massive difference to him.
Yeah, it was never a nice place. The Golden Egg, as Grossman says, we used to call it L'Oeuf d'Or. It's like Ken Elmjanur. My dear, shall we go to the L'Oeuf d'Or? He wouldn't recognize you now because of your hair, but as he's not there anyway, it really doesn't matter. So
yeah, but to be honest, I would have started.
School rebel, as she's now known, the school rebel.
No, but if I would have started mouthing off at the guy, I think he would have recognized me. Isn't it amazing how much higher the voice goes with anger?
Yeah, probably.
Emotions run high. Maybe that's where the expression comes from.
Could be. Phil, Ed says, Phil, you should have paid the extra 5p.
Why? Why should I?
I'd have just given him the 5p and shut up about it.
No, I would have told him where to stick the 5 pence.
It's 5 pence. Well, life's too short. I don't get, don't sweat the small stuff. Just don't sweat the small stuff. It's just not worth it. Not worth it. I know you're going to say, but it's a point of principle. Do you want to drink or you don't want to drink? For 5p. And no,
it's not a point of principle. It's a point of purse strings. And I'm very tight with my purse strings. Thank you very much.
Ed Grossman, how about the full English roast, a few drinks on a Sunday at the Spaniards Inn? I never went. I know it, obviously. I drove past it a million times. Or the Anchor and Hope in the Cut. That's in Waterloo, isn't it?
Hang on just a cotton-picking second. With 1 minute to go of this show, are you telling me you've never been to Spaniards Inn?
No, I've never been inside. It's weird. I've never been inside to the Spaniards Inn.
So we need to correct this when we can. That is a
been inside.
Public house.
I've driven past it my entire life 1,000 times by Whitestone Pond.
Best of all, you can take Ebony. It's dog friendly.
It's dog friendly. Oh, that's good.
You can take Ebs.
Okay.
Good Lord.
It would take me 3 hours to drive there, but that's okay.
Well, there you go. I can hand on heart tell you this is without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, don't you start, Francine. She says it hasn't gone either. Sam Monroe, we must go. Absolutely. We must go as well, by the way, because sadly that's all we've got.
Oh, that was silky smooth.
You see, it's almost like I'm getting used to this radio malarkey slowly but surely. I'm trying. Anyway.
Yeah, you are trying. Bloody trying.
Thank you. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for all your comments and for all your nostalgia. Don't forget, by the way, Deluxe Radio, Radio Waves, and across all social media and mensradiostation.com. We will return on Friday at 11 a.m. Yes, that's right, because it's the 3-hour program on Friday. Great guests, even better chat than today. Not that that's difficult. Thanks very much and bye.